Hello, Nomi fans! Welcome to the 10th session of the N League tournament. Today, this is Eric, and I'm joined by Julian.
Hello, Ricci fans. This is Julian. First time commentating, so I'm pretty nervous, but I'm excited to watch this 10th session of N League.
Yeah, very exciting. Today, we have a tough matchup. Damien for the Emperor Penguins, Dave for the Opie Dopes, Waben from the Brooklyn Sours, and Michael from the Destroyers. In
Destroyers.
particular, the Destroyers are your team, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention. I am Julian from the Destroyers, and Michael is representing us in this match.
Yeah, best of luck to them. It looks like you guys are trying to accumulate points. In fact, everyone at the table is trying to accumulate points. That's the whole point of Mahjong, but it's the Brooklyn Sours that have a little bit more of a lead over the other teams at the moment.
Hey, well, the Brooklyn Sours with 136.5 points, a nice, comfortable third place position. Really, the top three has been playing phenomenally, and I just butchered that word. But yes, it's the fourth place and down. They're kind of in like the tough spot. They're trying to make it up into their positive range. But yes, we'll see how this match turns out.
All right. Well, it looks like the starting order today will be Damien as the starting dealer, followed by Dave as South, Waben as West, and Michael as North, and they're just starting now. Just figuring out a little bit of a issue with the Homba. Dealer button must have been pressed twice. Dora is the one so. Just from an initial glance at these hands, it looks like Damien has good shapes to aim for maybe a Tanyao. And his first draw is a 1-pin.
Yeah, I can't. Well, yes, like you said, Tanyo definitely looks like a plan here. Definitely, you're in the Oya. You want to get like a early lead on. I guess he'll keep that so just so that when he pulls that door, he could have some way of using it.
Yeah, a draw like the 3 would be really nice if you go the Tanyao route because you get Dora on one side, even if it cancels the Tanyao. It looks like the other hands aren't half bad either. Dave has a lot of Yanmen shapes and a red 5. Waben has his own Yakuhai West, though he has interestingly passed on the first pawn, perhaps looking for more value. And then Michael's hand has at the moment 3 pairs. Make that 4 with that 8-mon draw.
I really like Michael and Damien's hand. They both look like they seem like they could get into Tenpai in a couple more rounds. Uh, the Waben has a little bit of a way to go. Maybe see a Chanta in there, and Dave, if I were him, I might kind of play defensively a little bit here.
Yeah, Dave has really good shapes now, so he can start to hoard safety and look for a pair elsewhere. Looks like Waben was quite unfortunate with his first 3 draws, though. 3 Hatsus in a row.
I just noticed that could happen to any of us, really. But yes, it is unfortunate.
Damien's pausing on this 7-pin draw because it goes nicely with his 5-pin pair, but he has to cut double east, 2-mon, or the Tuso, which accepts door, and he goes for the double east.
Yeah. Even without the ease, the hand still looks nice and fast. At this point, you really don't need a really big hand right now. You just want like a fast hand to just get out and get that home ball on the table.
Yeah, as a reminder to our viewers, the Homba are 1,500 points, so they stack up fast. And it looks like Michael is abandoning the chance for a Dora 3 Chitoy in favor of the Tanyao shapes in his hand.
So Tanya, draw one. If he could reach it, and maybe get an Ura, that'll be a manga. So I could see
Yeah.
where he's going with that.
In this case, the Dora is actually kind of hard to use unless it does pair up for the cheat toy. That being said, a 4-so draw will
Ooh.
put him in Ishan 10 for a Tanyao cheat toy Dora 1.
Just imagine pulling a 5-so on the next hand or the next round. Hey, Damien's still looking for that Tanyao, getting rid of those 1 pins.
He might consider starting to call in the next couple of turns, seeing as we're going into the middle game now. And Wabin's hand kind of took a shift towards that Chanta, but now he's stuck with a couple of awkward shapes, so he's probably going to end up bailing, and luckily has that pair of West since he didn't pawn it earlier.
That's the importance of keeping some safe tiles. Of course, keeping too many safe tiles is gonna just slow down your hand, but you do want to have one or so tiles that you could cut without worrying about dealing into. That's like an Oya Rigi.
And there's the
Ooh,
5
there
so
it
from
is.
Michael. So I
There
guess
it
the
is.
question now is, first, which Tonki? And okay, it's going to be a Dama, and I guess part of the reason is if you draw a 7-pin or an 8-mon, you can get a nice Yanmin Richi.
Well, he's not Tempa. Yeah, he has that 3/3/4 pin there.
Osachitoe, I think.
Oh, with the
Unless it's,
cheat. Oh, you're right. You're right. The
yeah.
cheat is there.
But it is a rather weak weight.
Pins are out there. That's one. There's one still left in the one, right? Or two?
Yeah, 2.
Two. Okay. Oh, waving with another 3 8 pins there that he
Yeah.
could have used.
In this case, 2 were from when in the hand, and one of them was from the draw. So it definitely
Got
seems
it.
like he's taking a bailing route now.
Tough choice for Damien here.
All right, the 2-so comes out while it can still pass. Oh, and interestingly, there are 4 pairs for Wabin.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So it
So
looks like Michael wasn't interested in the Champon. The Chitoy is, of course, worth more.
decided to keep that Hatsu in there as a safe tile, I guess.
Yeah, and that's given Dave Ishanten now for
Oh,
Ryanman Yarnman, but yeah. This is Mangan, isn't it?
Dora.
Chitoy Tsumo Dora Tanyao.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the time. Will be a
All right, so
2000,
one of the, yeah.
4000.
I guess those 4 pins were still available after all. As we go into East 2, it's Dave's dealership, and Dora is the 8-pin. Well, he has Dora acceptance. He has a red 5-so, as well as a pair of the 5-so. Not the fastest starting hand, but you could see potential Dora too. However, Wabin has the callable South, and it's a little bit awkward because he has 2 bad shapes and not very much value. In fact, we see the 2-4 pin being discarded on the first turn in favor of a potential Honitsu after that Sha pair up. And ooh, that's a unusual thing. Dave's 5 pin did tip over.
It
I think
happens
one
in
of the
real life.
players, yeah, I think one of the players actually accidentally tipped it out of his hand. A little bit of
Oh,
espionage going on. But there we see the South pawn for Wabin, and right now his discards of the 2 pin and the 5-mon are quite unusual. But with Yakuhai, you can't narrow it down to Honitsu just yet. And Damien here takes a 2-pin Shi going for a Chanta or the Hatsu Aruzuke, or even both, depending on what pairs up.
Oh, pulling a Emon or an 8, that Penchan 8-mon will be really nice. There's another call.
And that'll
Like
put
he's
him in
going for that
Tenpai.
Chanta.
So now I guess the question is whether he would pull in the Hatsu and wait on the 9-mon Tonki instead.
9-mon's usually, especially from mid to late game, a 9-mon is very likely to come out. And just to get an extra point in there doesn't hurt. I really don't want to just get out with like just a Chanta here.
Yeah, I suppose it would depend on how dangerous the board looks, because after calling 3 times, especially if you call a Hatsu, which could be a safe tile and doesn't necessarily need to be pawned for the hand, you could be in danger if someone were to reach you, or even if they open reach you. That would be really scary with 3 calls.
Good point there. Yeah, well, I forgot about that open reach. We do play with open reach in that league.
And of course, if you deal in with an open hand or a hand that's not in Richi, you will pay out a Yakuman. So if someone calls 4 times, it's time to slam that open Richi in.
5-mon in Michael's hand is gonna put him in Ishanten.
He has a potential Richi pin food Dora 1 if he can draw the Takame 8 pin, or even the 0 pin, that's the red 5 pin.
Speaking of that 5 pin, just one came out.
Yeah,
I go
Waven's
bowling
made.
that 8 pin
Yeah.
and reach it with a Haku. Now his weight's gonna be 6-9 mine, which we were just talking about. The 9-mon is very likely to come out mid to late game. So yeah.
And there's very little information too, so if someone doesn't have a choice, they might easily drop it. Damien is opting to dismantle his Hatsu pair instead of pushing, and it saves him from dealing it on the next turn. I think if he had pushed the 4, so he might have pushed the 6-mon as well.
Ooh, and Waven with that 2, so wow, this is a tough
Oh,
choice. But
the
the West,
West
yes.
is safest, yeah.
Mhm. Which 9-mons do we see?
I count 2 9-mon and 1 6-mon.
There's plenty still left.
Yeah, 5 is plenty at this stage. It's actually low on usual.
Ooh, with the red 5-mon pulled by Dave there.
Yeah,
And that's not gonna come out.
absolutely not. Even though Dave is the dealer, his hand is really disjointed now. And Waben has a fantastic Ishan 10, but he would have to deal this 9-mon, and he moves around with the 1 chance 8 so instead. Oh, sorry, the 1 chance on the 8 so instead. That makes the 9 so a little bit safer.
Very disciplined. To, yeah, not go with the Hoitsu and then keep that 9-mon in there. Yeah, I think he is folding on this one. We still do not see those 6 or 9-mon coming out of the files
Yeah, it's
here.
really surprising that there's still 4 left. Oh, Waben has a
And
mystery
that's
draw. Oh,
a 7-mon, which was a close call, but a dangerous tile to cut, but I guess he has some
Yeah, for now, I guess it's a Suji. It's a weaker Suji,
true,
but
true.
better than nothing. The problem is if another 7-mon comes out, the 9-mon might come out because it'll become one chance. Oh, there we go. So now the 9-mon
Yep.
is one chance. If Damien runs out of options, though he does have the Haku still, he might heal it.
And there is that
Oh,
6-man pull.
oh, this is there. Yeah,
There
there's
it
the one
goes, yes.
chance.
Yep, just like you said, after that 7-mon came out, the 9-mon did look like a save tile from anyone's view, really.
And that'll be 8,000 Richi Pin Fudora Ura. Ura was the 6-pin. So nice trading blows there. It's now Waben's dealership in East 3. Door is the West. He'll have one of those as well as a pair of Haku and a red 5-mon. So not bad. It's a callable hand. Obviously not super duper ideal, and the door is somewhat hard to use. But as a dealer, you can just go for the quick repeat if you want. Michael's hand shows strong promise as well. And Damien has one of the door, but his hand is definitely weaker than the other two, and that door is split up, so unless there's some kind of tunky or draw into a pair, I doubt he's going to be able to use it. Dave's hand, though, is already in two Shanten.
And this is what I'm
Ah,
impressed about, Eric. You look at a hand and analyze it in like a quick second. I needed like 5 seconds there to like actually take in everyone's hand and analyze it. And
oh, this is your
yeah,
first time, right? For the chat to remember, of course, in regular Mahjong, you're only looking at your own hand, so it's much easier to focus on it. And this is all kind of helter-skelter with changing the screens and whatnot. I just have a little bit more experience doing it for Armol, and I am by no means perfect either. Oh,
well, in
and
my
Michael's
eyes, you
hand
are.
is a beautiful draw into Ishanten for at least Ricci, Tanyao, Pinfu, Dora 1. Or
Just
it could
more
be
than
a,
enough.
yeah, Ricci, Pinfu, Dora 2 on a West draw, though that seems heavily unlikely. Oh, actually, it's impossible. The other 3 Wests are gone, and Waben actually managed to pair up that West and has that Haku pawn. So we're looking down at a potentially very large dealer hand here. And I imagine when Michael gets Tempai, unless he draws the West, which won't happen, it's going to come out and we'll see the pawn from Waben.
Which will make it a Hakutora 4. A great hand to go out on if you're the Oya.
And this is kind of something we saw in the first couple of hands from Waben, but he's very patient and he waits for the right hand to move. So in the first hand, he had kind of bad shapes, but rather than just push it forward recklessly, he gave up on it, decided to muck it and look for more value elsewhere. And now he's gotten that hand and he's moving straight ahead with it. No
I guess that's
Tempai for
one
Michael.
yet, and then yeah, he has a lot of tiles he could draw here to improve his hand, but it's just not coming out.
Oh, it looks like the 5-mon pair will be really helpful. You lock in the red 5 like that, so if/when Michael tosses that west, then you cut the 1/3-mon and you have a nice Ramen Dora for Tenpai
And there goes
in
that
this
one
case.
pin call, the chi from Weiben.
The only worry here is, oh, it's going to happen because, so unfortunately, this is not Weiben's hand to win. Because he's going to pawn this and then deal in on the 3-mon.
Oh, yes.
No Ipatsu, thankfully. But this is still a Richi Tanyao Pinfu Dora 2. Yeah, another rough hit for the Sours, but excellent for your team.
Oh, I mean, I was gonna say, as a destroyer, I'm happy for it, but as a commentator, I should keep like a unbiased commentating going on here.
Well, we move into East 4. It's Michael's dealership, and Dora is the West again. And it looks like Michael already has a completed 6, 7, 8 pin and the backbone of his other 3 shapes, as well as a pair of the Haku.
Yes, the first pull was a hawker there. Looks like a really quick hand. Who else? Let's see. Weiben has that Hatsu paired there, but it seems like everyone's hands are a little bit on the heavier side.
Yeah, and Weiben's going to be searching for points here. I wouldn't be surprised if he went for something like a Honitsu Hatsu Dora 2, looking for the West Tanki. And wow, another great draw from Michael. Probably going to drop the 1/2-mon here. Okay, decides to go for the 8/9 so first. Not a whole lot of difference between the two.
He's been getting great Tanyao hands, so maybe that's still in his mind. Just trying to like leave that option out there.
Yeah. And it
And yeah,
does. Oh, what do we do here?
let's
I
just
think,
get rid of the 1/2. Ooh,
yeah, I might prioritize that because that frees up the 7-mon pair to develop into a Ryuanmen. Whereas now, I guess you can still develop it into a Ryuanmen, but after pawning the Hatsu, it gets locked in as the pair. Oh, wow.
oh
The red
wow.
5-pin draw helps, though. Now we have a really wide Yonrenkin, the 5, 6, 7, 8 pin to develop this further. But Weiben's going to pawn the Hatsu. And will we see the 3, 4 pin cut? Oh, we see the 3-mon first, sorry.
So it's a
Oh,
Haku Atozuke.
I wonder why he didn't pawn the first one then if he is going to chi the 3-mon. Maybe he just missed the call.
And it happens. Unlike playing online, the game does not pause for you to do a pawn or a chi. Which I learned um firsthand in my first match at the end league, and that was a very very hard lesson.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No,
Look,
well, somebody stole a Sanso from me.
oh, you didn't need it. Well, anyways, yeah, some of the players here are very quick to move, so it can be quite difficult to keep up, especially if you have a hand with complex decisions. As is, though, one Haku is left in the wall. Michael is unable to win on the 7-mon because there would be no Yaku. And Damien actually tempers the door and out it goes. So it's a little bit more information for Weiben. Oh, and he's actually going to call the 5 so from the completed 5, 6, 7 so in order to widen his chances at Honitsu here. I don't know how much it actually. Well, I guess, yeah, if you're going for the Shatanki, it helps. Because now you have a Yankan instead of a Penkanchan.
Right, just a wider hand that you could call a chi on. Yeah, like I said earlier, he does need the points right now, so yeah, it's all or nothing right now for him. And he pulls that 9 so to make a pair. So that shot Tanki's not looking likely, but it's still out there.
Yeah, if he draws it himself first, then we'll see a swap of the 5-so or the 9-so. Probably the 9-so, given that there's already a 9-so and a west out. Oh, and there's a chi, and he takes the tenpai on the 6-so,
Yeah.
which just passed. And I believe there are 2 left in the wall.
As opposed to the only one Haku in the wall right now.
Michael did hesitate a bit on this pay discard because it is once cut, but against the 3-call Honitsu, it's not so nice if you deal in, especially if it's the Yakuhai and not a Tonki. But there is a fast Richi from, well, not super fast, but a good Richi from Dave, looking for Richi Ipeko on the Kan Foreman, or wait, no. Sorry, this is Richi
2/5
Pinfu.
mon.
Yeah. Richi Pinfu Dora 1 on 2/5 Mon. He currently has 3 in hand. And there's 1 in the chi from Michael and 1 in Damien's hand. So it's 3 in the wall versus, make that 2 in the wall now that this 5 mon is drawn by Damien. So 2 versus, I guess we can't count Michael in now because he discarded the Haku pair.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, right after. Wait, yeah, that. Oh, never mind. He just dropped a pair. Sorry about that. I thought he pulled that
yeah,
Haku somewhere.
that would be unfortunate. But there is Weibin's win because he upgraded the shape while we were talking to a 3/6-0. And of course, Tave doesn't have a choice being in Ricci, so it'll be a nice. I want to say that's 39. It shouldn't have enough food to round up.
The only 3 pairs is the Hatsu, so yeah, I think it's a 3/9 there.
And that's a pretty speedy entry into the South round. Damien is the dealer again, and Dora is the 3-mon. In fact, I don't think we had any repeats.
And we've been having like long sessions, close to 3 hours every week, and this seems like a nice little fast round.
And this will be a fast round too if Damien's hand keeps going forward from the starting state, because he is already in a very wide Tushanten for potentially like a Ricci Pin Fudora too. Maybe even Tanyo. So Michael, how much does Michael care about Kokshi here?
Oh, if you're a destroyer, you gotta go for it. If you're not greedy, you aren't a destroyer.
And it looks like he's going for it, or at least hedging the Manzu Honitsu.
Yeah, looking at Damien's hand, it seems like if Damien could pull, and that 8 pin will help definitely towards that, at least a Pinfu.
Yeah, if Damien can get the 7-pin in here, it'll probably be an instant Ricci for Ricci Pinfu. You can even open Ricci it if he feels adventurous. If he draws the 2/5-so first, I could see a move like discarding the 8-pin or the 9-pin to fish for a weight around the red 5-mon. Because at that point, it'll be a Ricci Nomi on a bad weight.
Which will be unfortunate from like a great hand that he got from the start.
Well, Michael is moving. Kokshi is out the window. It's time for Yakuhai Honitsu, or maybe even Dai Sangen if he can draw a few tunes.
That Hoinsu is starting to look likely with that 7-mon pull there.
And here's a nice draw for Damien. Drops a 9-pin and accepts the 5-8 pin into Tenpai as well as the 3-pin now.
Mhm.
And everything in that range of tiles will guarantee a Tanyao. Of course, if he draws around the red 5-mon, he can still go for a Tanyao and maybe even a Pinfu.
Ooh, and then with that Hatsu pawn, Michael's hand is starting to look a lot like a Daisangyan from other people's hand.
Waben isn't giving up. He pawns right back with that south, maybe going for a Chuntanki or a Manzu Honitsu of his own.
Oh, but then Damien here with that Ranzo pull is on Tenpai and he goes for the Richu with the 5-mon.
Yes, this will be a 5-8 pin, 3-pin wait. And yeah, that's going to prompt Waben to fold with the 5-mon, dismantling his completed sequence. And there's a
Ooh,
Patsumo on the final 8-pin. Wow.
harder of the
Riichi
two
Patsumo.
choices.
Tanyao. Ura 1. I'll be 4,000 all.
There comes out that Nomi business card with all the points and the foo printed on the back, which is very, very useful in like a real life mahjong.
Yes, if you don't have one of them and you come to one of our club meets, definitely ask for one. It's a great pocket tool. And we go into our first repeat of the game. Damien's large Mangan Sumo into a 1,500 point Homba. Exciting. And it looks like the Dora is the 3-mon. I don't know if it's possible this week, but last week we had a very, very helpful mystery person in the background providing score updates now and then.
Oh yes, I saw
As
someone in the comment section.
yeah. As is though, Damien is at 33,000. It looks like Dave is at 14,100. Waben took a few rough hits there, but is at 7,900, and Michael is at 45,000 flat. Well, getting back to the hand in session, Damien has 4 pairs, and a Dora could go for a Cheeto, a Dora 2 maybe. It looks like a pretty slow hand if you go for a normal Mentsu-based plan. Dave has 2 red 5s. Maybe going for a Ricci Dora 2. He's certainly capable of that, being 2 Shanten on turn 2. And then it looks like Waben has a very, very thick Pinzu shape over here and might opt to go for Pinzu Honitsu or even a Chinitsu depending on the next draws, though he is Ishanten currently. With his current standings, though, I don't think he would settle for a Ricci Nomi.
Oh yeah, definitely go for that genius at this point separation. Not too much of a callable hand. I mean, guess you could call that 1-pin.
Yeah, and he's actually going to dismantle the 5-7 mon now to keep this east a potential Honitsu tile. So Michael's hand is actually coming around quite nicely. He has a sticky Ishanten. Drawing anything around the 4, 7, so or the 2-pin will give him Tenpai.
Is pausing on a 4-pin draw.
This is Tenpai for Dora 1 if he wants to take it. He decides not to, though. Doesn't like the double dependency on the 3-pin. And in this case, he'd be right. Dave and Waben both have 1 each.
If you pull a
Yeah.
Sozu, the 3 or the ace, so like you said, it's going to be a three-way wait. So I would definitely go for that. And Michael with the hefty lead, he's not really in a rush to come out on like a light hand.
Yeah. If he draws a 5 pin, then he can just take the Ricci as well. But in this case, he drew a north and doesn't see any realistic future changeups in the Pinzu. So keeps that as safety, or even a potential Yakuhai Shampon. Or Shabo, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, another Dora, though. So surely now the north will go out.
Did cut that 5 mon, so a 4 mon wouldn't really help him here.
Damien, Damien is Chitoi Ishanten, but Dave has an Ishanten for Tanyao Dora 3. And he can open for that if Damien happens to drop the 3-6-0 or the 6-mon. A little unfortunate, though, because Damien has a pair of the 6-mon and they're not going anywhere. And Michael draws into the long-awaited Tenpai on the 2-5-8, so instantly reaching. This will be a Ricci Pinfu Dora 1, potentially Dora 2 if he can get the red 5, so.
Oh, but the
Oh,
red
but
5
that,
so was pulled by. Ooh!
yeah, I was gonna say that's Dave's to have, but then the 2 says a natural progression if you push with the Dora 4. So I'll be Ricci Patsu Pinfu Dora 1. No Ura. So we do play with Kyriage Mangan, so it'll be 8,000 plus a repeat for 9,500. And the points are flying.
Oh yeah, that big homba definitely moves the points around so much. It's exciting to see, but as a player, you really want to be mindful of how much points are on the table, especially when there's a couple repeats going on.
It could be quite nerve-wracking too, because you win
Oh
a few
yes.
hands and you're very happy, but then there's 6,000 points on the table to worry about if you deal in. But you don't want to give it up either, because that's 6,000 points on the table. So the
Mhm.
push-pull becomes very interesting. As is, will be in Dave's second dealership. It is South 2. Dora is the 3-mon. Oh, that's
Again.
a pair of repeat Doras in a row.
Oh well, good memory.
West, West, then 3-mon, 3-mon. Oh, let's see. Dave is down to 4,600, so Waben and him are quite close at the moment. Waben has another dealership after this, so Dave is probably going to try and stockpile as many points as he can here. This is an important dealership for him. As
Oh yeah, I
is,
thought about there a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, I guess if I'm just looking around here, I'm favoring Damien's hand the most.
Just because of the chun in his hand and a callable fast hand comparable to everyone else.
Yeah, and drawing around the 5-mon, if you can draw the 4-mon or the 3-mon, you have access to 2 Dora, so it becomes worthwhile to call.
Right.
Guess the question is, will Dave be able to convert his Sozu to an Itsu over here before he gets Tenpai on the Ricci Dora 2? It seems quite unlikely now that 3 1-Sos are out.
Right, and yeah, and besides the one, so there isn't much Sozus coming out, so it looks very expensive. With yeah, with Waven only 3,000 points apart, I say he just wants to get a nice fast hand out here. Continue as Oya and try to reclaim his third place for this
And
round.
that does seem to be the case because he cuts out the 2-so for this 2-4-6 pin Liancon, and the 3-pin is actually entirely live in the wall, which is a read you can make, I guess, based on how many 1-pin and 2-pin were discarded early by the other players. So if he gets Tenpai here and has to choose a Pinzu weight, I'd place my money on the 3-pin weight.
That was a tough one when you have a Ramcon and you got to choose one. I would go with like the 3-pin, as you said, just because it's on the farther end of the spectrum, a lower weight. Then again, if I want the points, I could dream of pulling that red 5-pin.
Yeah, it's difficult to say.
Oh,
Oh, there's a 3-pin.
he has a nice
So they'll
little.
It's
Sorry,
like, now I've forgotten. Sorry, that was my bad though. We have a dealer Ricci here. It's a Ricci Dora 2, waiting on 1 Formon, and Weibin Cheed to break the Patsu. Just reminding him to turn the tile again.
which I'm guilty of forgetting multiple times.
And actually, I think Weibin Cheed a 5-6-7 pin, so he's actually Tenpai for a 5-6-7 Sanchoku.
Stack completely. You're right. And the 6-mon, but there's 2 6-mons in Michael's hand. Non-cut, so there's still 2 out there.
So it's the battle of 1 4-mon versus 6-mon. And currently there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1 4-mons gone. And there's 2 6-mons gone. So I think it is 2 versus 2.
I feel like the 1-4-mon is like more likely to come out.
It definitely seems a little bit more likely. And if Weibin draws the 1-mon, it will probably come out.
That third Dora and that Iman looks very, very light.
Yeah,
But
it's so loose.
yep,
Oh,
he's
okay.
very disciplined. Yep, he's out at the top of the board right now, so there really is no reason for him to push, even with that 3 Doras in his hand.
He is currently Ishan 10, though. So we might see it pushed if he gets Tenpai around the Sozu. After all, it is a Dora 4 hand. And that's another 2-mon out, another Convincer. So it's double 1 chance.
Ooh, and
And
like you said, around that Sozu, the 6 Sozu.
yeah. This is a chase. It doesn't actually
Without
chase there.
reach? Oh.
That's surprising, though, because you have Dora 4. How many 5-sos were out? It looked like there's 1 5-so out. Maybe just not confident in the weight. Either way, that'll be a Ricci Dora 3, because there was an Uradora of the 4-pin. So that's 12,000 points to Dave, a much-needed revival up to 16,600, and a repeat on the table. Oh, Dora is the 9-pin. Dave's hand seems to have started with 5 pairs, so he's Ishan 10 from Chitoy.
Exciting. William has 2 of the 9 Pandoras there. I guess you could look at a Chanta Dora 2.
Or even a Junchan if he wants a cold Mangan. It just
That'll be
depends on what
nice.
pairs up first. Michael's hand over here, not bad. That 4-mon fills the nice 3-4-5 red 5-mon, of course, and gives him a chance at a 3-4-5 Sanchoku Tanyao Pinfu Dora 1, maybe? If we're
Wouldn't that
dreaming
be
big.
exciting?
Oh, there's unfortunately been an awful tragedy. It appears that Dave is Shohei.
Well, how did that happen? Did he forget to pull the first draw?
I have to imagine that in the excitement of seeing his Ishanten hand, he might have forgotten the first draw and just went straight for the discard.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess you're right. To the viewers out there playing with the auto table, the Rex table here, the Oya tile comes out 13, so you do have to draw one from the tile at the very beginning. Now, what's the ruling on this? Do you just go on playing with a Nagari Hoki, which means he can't win on a hand, or is he
Yeah,
gonna
it would
try to hide
be
it?
it'd be Agari Hoki as soon as someone notices it. Though obviously, if Dave, for whatever reason, tries to win with the hand or show it winning in any way, then he would be penalty to a Chombo. It is expected of the other players to point it out if they notice it, though.
Mm.
Just good sportsmanship.
Ooh.
I'm sure Dave will have noticed
Pretty sure he noticed by
soon.
now.
Yeah, if not already, then very soon. Which is a shame. It's a really nice hand.
It is.
But
It
he,
is.
and I think he's noticed because he passed the 1-mon pawn for the what would be a Toy Toy 1 away.
And Dave's not really even looking at his draws anymore.
Nah, just playing it straight, trying not to feed Waben very much, if possible. So Michael is now in a very wide Ishanten with this 6-mon draw. Decides to cut the 3, so more interested in that 258 Sanmentan shape than the potential Ipeko.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe he's looking for that Itsu as well, but that's kind of long ways out.
Could be searching for that. My personal choice is normally to cut the 2 or the 8-mon and have a headless Ishanten, but
Mhm.
there is that one bad case where you draw the 4 so and you end on a Tanki, but it's a Tanya Ipeko Dora 1. But there's going to be a Ricci from Damien that's potentially going to throw some doubt across the table. It's a 5-8 pin weight. There's currently 4 visible, plus the 1 in Damien's hand, 1 in Michael's hand. So there should be 2 left in the wall.
How come my 8-pin draw will be Ricci Pinfutanya?
And
Ipeko.
there's a chase, 6-9 pin.
Ooh. 6-9 pins are out there.
Let's see, 2 6-pins in Damien's hand, 2 in Dave's hand, 2 9-pins in Waben's hand, so there's 2 9-pin left in the wall. But it is the Dora. So Michael could make a nice chunk of those points back with a Ricci Tsumo pin food Dora too. And Waben's gonna move here, takes the Chi. It's an Adozuke Tenpai for the Haku and the 9-pin. Haku is the tile to get. That'd be a Haku Dora 2. Shut down the Richis, collect the home button 2 Richi sticks. Not a bad deal.
That will be a good time to say that you're Shohai, right? So that those Ricci doesn't count.
oh, 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 the Richi would count. Because it's just a Garihoki, but
Oh, okay, yeah. You're right.
what
I
does
forget there was like
Chitoy?
a... Oh, go ahead,
It's
sorry.
actually almost beneficial to Dave that he was forced to give up early because he has so much safety now. It doesn't matter how much safety you have though, someone sumos, and that'll be the
Hey,
Richi
cool.
Sumo Pinfu Dora 2.
Is just seems unstoppable right now.
Yeah, Michael took a bit of a hit after that dealing with the 1-mon the previous round, but is right back in it again with a 2k, 4k plus a repeat is 25-45. And we are already in South 3. The dealer is Waben and Dora is North.
North, one of the North is in Waven's hand and Damien's hand as well.
Waben already has 3 pairs, but he does have a red 5-pin and a Ryanmen shape. So I imagine the
Ooh,
plan here will probably be to try and pawn the south and then pair up the north later.
Damien
If
just
you
pulled a
think,
North there to pair that Dora
yeah,
up.
that's really nice. And Damien's hand looks like it could definitely be a cheat toy Dora too.
Interesting choice there. If I was going for that cheat, I would have cut the Chun just because that Chun was already cut from the Toyman.
Yeah, it's interesting always to think about those once cut honors. If you're going into the second row and it's still once cut, then some people would argue that the Chun is a much stronger weight and more likely to be drawn since people would have cut it by then. But this early on, it's hard to tell which is better, the Chun or the Haku.
Good
But
point
yeah,
there. Yeah, I guess if the Chun's out very early on, it is like to come out later in the game.
that being said, if it's out early and you decide to keep it because you're trying to be sneaky and then someone discards the Chun the next turn, you're very sad because now your Chun is useless. So yeah, I think very early on, just playing the numbers is good. And then later on, trying to get reads on the board is good. And here the Chun has died a second time, so we'll probably see it dropped eventually. That's not to neglect the other hands, though. Michael has a south pair, and that's going to be Mochi Mochi with Wabens. And Waben did take a Chi earlier. At least I think it was a Chi. It's a little hard to see.
Yeah, only see the round, the two so there.
And Michael is actually Ishanten at this point. Though unless he draws the 7-pin, he's going to end up on a kind of hard to get a Shabo weight because he has 3 of the 7 pins. And he has the Souths paired up in Waben's hand. So although Waben could realistically bail with the South and deal in.
Dave's hand, he's at a shot in 10, a very wide weight too. A lot of tiles, the 6 so 1 4 a lot of weights that could improve his hands.
Yeah. Yeah, ideal draw of the 6 so there would give him a Ricci Pin Fudora 1. And Waben here is looking and looking for that South pawn, not knowing that it's locked up in Michael's hand for now. I wonder if Michael were to draw the 6-pin if he dropped the South going for a Pinfu. But then again, it's double South for Michael, so maybe not.
Two. Yeah, I would
Oh,
keep the South there. Just
yeah,
looking for points as well.
yeah, Honitsu, or if he wanted to compromise for speed and keeping the red 5-mon this late, maybe 4-pin, because then you have a 2-5-8-pin weight and you can still pawn the 7-pin or the South into Tempai.
There you go. Yes.
as is Dave and Wabin still looking for that magic tile. And Damien has actually transitioned towards a normal hand, going to be aiming for a Ricci Pin Fudora 2.
But decided not to call that 6 months. I guess he is still waiting for that sap to come out.
And
Ooh, but then
that's
he pulls
Tenpai.
this. Yeah.
Oh, this is unfortunately that bad weight we were talking about before. He's actually so unconfident in it that he's going to Dama. And in this case, it's not bad because with only one 7-pin left that doesn't give you Yaku, you're not super worried about having to pass a win on the other players, and you can always sumo it yourself. However, I think in this case, that's actually going to make it kind of paradoxically very hard to win. Because now there's no incentive for Wabin to drop his south pair.
True. Wabin's at Ishanten waiting for that 3-6 south or 6-pin.
Oh, this is interesting for Damien. Decides to cut the 1-2 mon here. Nice Ishanten. We'll probably see him call into Tenpai given that there's only a few more turns remaining. Oh, there's Tenpai.
Ooh.
It's a 4-0 north Shaboit. There's currently 1 north left in the wall, as the 4-0 is dead in Wabin's hand. But there's a chi for Dave, takes the 1-2-3 chi for K10. Currently waiting for the 6-0, though he cannot win on it. Unless it's the Haite or the Hote. And Damien's still thinking here, still not taking the Ricci. It's pretty late, and it's a mediocre wait. Guess the question is, will Wabin be able to pawn into Tenpai in these final 2 turns? And it looks like he wasn't able to. Dave did not get a Haite, so that's going to be 3 players Tenpai. A rough hit for Wabin, who kind of needed to keep his dealership there. Okay, as is, we have moved into South 4. Michael is the dealer, and the Dora is the 7-mon. And Michael seems to have a very interesting hand, very windy.
It's windy with Machanta in there as well. I would call anything I can at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, Damien's hand is on fire, though.
Ooh, wow, look at that.
Yeah, all stars from the start. I can very easily see a Tanya Dora 3 here. So currently, Michael is at 54,000. Damien is at 30,500. Dave is at 13,100, and Wabin is at 2,400. And just like that, we see our first chi from Damien aiming for that open mangan.
Sitting at second place. I guess that chi was so that he could just get his mangan and leave this round. He's not really looking to overtake Michael, really.
Yeah, I don't believe he can overtake on a direct mangan hit anyway, so perhaps just favoring the speed. There's a big difference between first and second in the N League rules because of the Oka used. So first place effectively gets plus 45, whereas second gets plus 5 after accounting for the Gaishi or the point return. But
Damien pulls
this
that
gap,
6-pin.
Yeah, we see he settles just for the 3 Han hand in this case. Which is fine because once again, if he's calling, he probably accepts that it's unlikely for him to get first anyway, so he'll go for the fastest route to Tenpai.
And he pulls after a cheat from Michael. Damien pulls that Suso to complete his hand for that 3 Han. And just we talked about Tanya Dora 2.
Yep, Tanya Dora 2 is 1,000, 2,000 plus that Honba from the Yukioku the previous round will be 1,500, 2,500, so not a bad end. The final scores are as such. Michael in the Destroyers takes a commanding 51,500 first, raking in a lot of points for them. Damien from the Emperor Penguins gets 36,000, a very respectable second place. It looks like Dave ended with 11,600, but the roughest game went to Wabin from the Brooklyn Sours, who ended with just 900 points after what felt like a torrent of kind of unavoidable events.
It wasn't like Wavin wasn't playing horribly. It was just that Michael was just pulling the tiles that he needed with great value. Yeah, very unavoidable, really. Commanding. I really like that word that you used.
I do think, yeah, like you said, Wabin showed great prowess this game, and we saw some really, really well thought out decisions on where to push and fold, and he just wasn't favored by Lady Luck in the first Hanshan. But the players should be taking a quick, maybe 5-minute break now, so we're probably going to go to a break as well and catch you for the second Hanchan.
Okay. Um, Thank you, Eric, for commentating most of it.
It's fine. You definitely had some really insightful points there. All right,
Yay.
make sure to stick around, folks. It'll be just a few minutes. All right, welcome back, folks. We are on to Hanchan 2 of Session 10 of N League. I'm Eric, and once again, I am joined by...
Julian from the Destroyers. First time commentating, but excited.
Speaking of firsts, Michael just took it first for the Destroyers. Nice 50,000 something first, which means about, let's see, math, about a 70-point first, yeah.
I was trying to
Very,
do that
very nice.
OCA calculation, and I just kind of gave up on it halfway through.
No, math is not fun. Looks like our starting lineup will be Waben as east, Dave as south, Michael as west, and Damien as north. Going into the second round, it was definitely Waben's game to lose, unfortunately. A little bit of a hit to the second place team, the Brooklyn Sours, but we'll see if he can make it back in this round. Dave managed to escape a pretty low fourth place, just grabbing onto that third, and then Damien took a respectable second and managed to get some points for the Penguins.
Yes, when you're the Penguins sitting at fourth with a positive points. Yeah, second place is definitely a nice one to get. As the Destroyers getting the first, hopefully we knock off a little bit of that negative points that we still have. With the fourth, fifth, and the sixth place teams pretty close in points right now.
Well, it looks like things have started. Waben as the starting dealer. Dora is the east. Looks like Waben's hand is actually in great shape. Lots of good shapes over here. Can see an easy Richi Tanyao Pinfu, or at least Richi Pinfu, maybe an Ipeiko chance in the lower Manzu. Looks like Damien's hand is also in great shape. Very similar ideas here. Has the red 5-pin. And Michael's hand isn't too bad, though it does take a little bit of tender love and care to get any value out of it. Kind of similar with Damien. He's sitting there with a lone Dora East and a red 5-mon, which is connected to some lower Manzu, but nothing is definite yet.
Right, if Damien could pull that east tile just to pair it up, it'll be much nicer hand to start off with.
Yeah, the East Dora is really scary here in general, just because you don't want to give the dealer double East Dora 3 on turn 2 or 3. Then again, it's safer to drop it earlier while you can. But does Damien think he has the proper value or speed to do so? He's holding on to it one more turn. See what Dave has drawn a 6-mon here. He could angle towards a Cheetoy, but the shapes for a regular hand do seem better, so he opts for that.
I agree with that move. Too many of those pairs are, especially if you're not going for a Cheeto, is just gonna slow your hand down a lot.
And there goes the Dora from Damien on turn 4. It looks like Waben was thinking of following suit, but, it's a really powerful tile to have as dealer, so he holds onto it for just a little bit longer. And Michael is in an interesting Ishan 10 now. The 9-pin is definitely an upgrade. I'd consider cutting the 8-pin.
Is what he does.
And that pays off for Waben. He draws the second Dora East right after deciding to keep that one around for one more turn. And he's going to move into 2 Shanten with a potential double Tuan Dora 3. Oh, that's unfortunate for Michael.
Yeah, but he still has a lot of tiles that can improve his hand or go into Tenpai.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
red
sure he's
5
not
Mon.
that.
Yeah, it's honestly, if it would be a Richinomi, it's a good weight, but it would not be worth very much. And here we can still get the potential Pinzu Ipeiko. We can draw a red 5-mon in either suit, and yep.
And that's like that. He pulls this 3-pin for a 2 5-pin weight.
Michael is looking for the 2-pin to get that Ipeiko, but he'll probably just settle for any win. And Weibin's in an interesting spot now because he has those 2 door and a potential dealer Mongon in the future, but there's this Ricci on the table
But
that
you
would
have to
require him.
push.
Yeah, you have to push here, and if you fold, it's unfortunate that you have to drop the 7-8 pin, because that kind of destroys the hand. I guess it's a bit fitting that you destroy your hand against the destroyers, though. Oh, no, there goes the chase.
Ooh. Now, if you're in
Wait.
Dave position, Ishanten,
Oh, it's tough. This Hatsu
it's
looks...
very.
Yeah, it's completely live. But versus two Richis, does he have a better option?
That's the thing. He's been committed to the hand too much. It's kind of hard to fold as well. But I guess he decides to cutting that 7-pin and keeping the Hatsu in his hand.
Yeah, 7-pin was Suji to the dealer and Genbutsu to Michael. Ooh, close call with that 1-pin.
Yeah, he kind of paused there a little bit, maybe gave out a little bit of a hint to the other players.
As it stands, there are 2 5-pin remaining, and there are 3 2-pin remaining. So 5 left for Michael's weight, and Weibin's 1-4, so it looks like there are 2 1-sos discarded. But Michael has the Anko of the 4-so, and Damien has one of the 4-so as well, so there's only 2 tiles left for Weibin. Definitely an advantage for Michael.
Again, we don't see really too much Pinzu in the discards either, so it is seemingly an expensive suit.
I've also somehow entirely missed that Damien has a 5-pin and Dave has 2 5-pins. So it's
Oh, yes.
4 tiles left. Oh, sorry, make that 3 tiles left because... Wait, no. I did my math correctly the first time. It's 4 tiles left.
There's no more 4-so left.
And there is 1 1-so left in the wall. Doesn't look like it would easily come out, though.
Oh, no. At this point, it's probably going to be kept in hand.
And there's another of the 2 pins.
That
Ooh, a
8-so
little
was
scary.
hit tile? Yeah, it was.
The 6-pin was definitely scary for Michael. The 8-so, it's a Shompai. No, it's actually once discarded in Suji, so not terrible.
Oh, there it is, yes. Oh, yeah, but the 6-pin, yeah, definitely was a scary one.
Actually, there is now a chance that the 1-so comes out because it's 1 chance, but I think that Dave can successfully fold to the end.
Dave pulls another 2-pin there. It's eating up both Ricci's winning hands here.
Oops, a little bit of a fumble there, but that will be Waven and Michael Tempai. That'll be 1,500 each. And there'll be also 1,500 on the table plus the Ricci stick for a sweet 2,500 point pot.
Yes, the big
Sorry,
Homba.
Yeah, 3,500 actually because of 2 Richi sticks. So East 1, repeat 2, door, repeat 1, door is the 3 pin. And it looks like Weibin has some nice shapes in the Manzu and lower Sozu over here, along with the red 5. Dave's hand, not awful. Maybe could angle towards a Tanyao, but not seeing a lot of value. Not that you need much with 3,500 in the middle.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. There's nothing I see besides Tanya with that hand. Laban's hand definitely workable. Michael and Damien, I guess Damien could go for that Honitsu with the West. Oh, and that Hatsupo would definitely help.
Yeah, it would be really nice to get a Toy Toy San Anko Honitsu Yaku Yaku here. That'd be a Baimon if he manages to draw either the 2 or the 5 so, and then the Hatsu.
Is very likely to come out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we'll see the pawn here, but it's still a Hanuman confirmed now. 2-5 so Tenpai on turn 4.
It's impossible
As
to
is.
read that.
Yeah, it's so hard, and there's an 8 so on turn 2, so you're not even
The sushi is
realistically
not safe
thinking
for
it's
you.
a yeah. And you can't even tell that it's a Sozu Honitsu, let alone a Honitsu at all. You can just see the 2 Yakuhai calls and be a little bit scared of that. But I guess the 7 mon on turn 1 is a little bit suspicious, but as it stands, both Weibin and Dave can snatch up at least one of the 2 5-so each, and Michael can use it for the time being. But it looks like there are still 4 copies left in the wall.
Decide to stay with his weights even after that one so draw. Yeah, Damien's heart must be pounding right now. Just waiting
Yeah,
for that draw.
he's discarding a little fast too. So
Saw a
next
little bit
draw
of
is
the
6
six,
so.
so yes.
I wonder what Michael thinks about this. 8 pin. It's gonna cut the bad shape out of the hand. Maybe not very interested in contesting Damien here.
Oh, the hand looks way too scary.
He does manage to get into a Chitoidora 2 Shunten though. There could be a path to fight with that.
Let's keep it
It
with
doesn't
the
as
luck that Michael's having right now. Yeah, definitely could push
yeah.
a little bit.
Weibin has
And
now
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, Weibin has now relinquished his 3-4 so can no longer accept that 2-5. So but is calling towards a Chinitsu. A little bit unfortunate, would have drawn the 9-mon himself the next turn, but the pawn certainly speeds it up.
Yeah, but Genius Dora one, Home into Toy Toy, Yaku?
Yeah, Haneman versus Haneman. Of course, the Oyapane for 18,000 is much more destructive.
Oh,
But
yes.
that being said, with the Honba, anything hurts.
And can Michael join up the party? Not so likely with the 5 soul pool here. And everything really looking.
Yeah, both the 8-mon and the Sozu look really bad. Or I guess the Sozu doesn't look so bad. But you don't want to risk feeding Damien.
Right.
You could have technically done the 3-so. There's still no sign that this should be a Sozu Honitsu. You just know that the Pinzu looks cheap.
Yep.
And the 3-so passed a couple turns ago without any changes in Damien's hand. But as such, just playing it entirely safe here seems fine. And there's Ishanten for Weiben.
The wave will be...
Oh, actually cuts the 8-mon.
Okay, interesting choice there.
I think probably because all the 9-mon are gone, so it doesn't add too much.
Scary so there.
Yeah. Still no sign of those other 2-5, so still 3 left in the wall. And the tiles around it are starting to die. It's becoming harder for people to use them. Oh, wow.
Ooh, wow. Oh, but
But he doesn't
Michael...
want to push the...
Yep, he just decides to fold with his east tiles.
Let's see. Yeah, there's 2 3-pins and 1 4-pin out, so the Sananko isn't even very realistic.
Ooh, and Weiben is in Tenpai for his Chinitsudara one with the 3-6?
3-6, yep. Could technically change the weight, but I don't think it benefits him that much to do so.
Yeah, so this west, if Weiben cuts it, if you're Damien, would you con it?
Weiben is a little bit scared about dropping that, or perhaps think it'll be a sneakier weight. Unfortunately, it is dead. I'm the type to just shove straight through because I have such a good hand.
And
Oh,
Damien
wow.
just pulls the red 5 so to complete his Toi Toi Homi to the Yaku Yakudora one.
7 Han for a nice 35-65 with the Honba, plus 2 Richi sticks from the previous round.
Was definitely worth the wait. Pulling that 5, that red 5 so.
Yeah, it started to get a little sketchy when it was getting late, and Weiben had 2 Chinitsu calls and overflow, but a very nice win for Damien. And we'll go finally into East 2. Dave's dealership. Dora is the 7-mon. The starting hand is a little broken up at the moment. You see a whole lot of decent shapes in place, but not a lot of value. It's going to be a little bit slow and cheap at the moment. Yeah. The same cannot be said for Weiben's hand, though, which has an on-con of the 3-so waiting, though he likely will not con it on the first turn, given that there's a 4-so in the hand as well. And Michael's hand, speaking of Barabara, that's like completely disjointed at the moment. There's really not much that can be done.
Yeah, at that moment, I would actually just cut my middle tiles out, just completely throw this round, and hopefully get a Kokshi. But
Yeah, you can aim for a Kokshi, you can go for a Chitoi, maybe a Honitsu or a Chanta, but I don't see this coming together as a conventional hand either.
right, and Weiben's hand, an upgrade there with the 4, so interesting. Maybe that Sanso Khan is more likely now that he paired up that 4, so.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting. There are some killer draws. If you can get a 2 or a 5-so, he can use the 3-so as the pair and get an Ipeiko. Plus the 2-so will be rather easy to get because it's very hard for other people to use. And he's making very, very steady progress. So I imagine if Weiben gets to Ishanten, especially on a 4-mon draw, that he'll take the con.
Agreed with that, yeah. Double whammy for Michael pulling the red 5 mine. Really has no use for it. I really don't see the hand going anywhere from there.
And even if he doesn't have a use for it, tossing it is also dangerous. One, because it's Dora, but also because it's in the Dora area of the 7-mon. In fact, Weiben is actually playing slightly inefficiently there with the 2-mon cut because he wants a chance to use the Dora 7-mon.
Yeah, but when your hand's that good and looks fast, yeah, you really want to get that Dora in there, just get it up to a Mangan. Said we still have a couple 6 months, 8 months left on the. Oh, actually, Michael have two of that 8 month.
So Weibin gets to Ishanten, but actually holds back on the Khan for now, perhaps looking for a Rinshan chance.
Which is always exciting.
Yeah, and he has fairly decent odds to draw into Tenpai. A modern theory generally dictates that at a good shape Ishanten, you just Khan right away because you have the chance to get into Tenpai, which is higher than the Rinshan chance, but it is definitely way more exciting and a little bit more future-proof not to Khan. Because if someone else calls Ricci and you don't feel like your hand is worth fighting, or you draw a really cursed tile, you can just fold safely without
Oh,
being like over-invested in the hand. Still though,
but more
both
than
options seem perfectly fine.
more than anything, it's probably because of the anime reference. People,
Oh
it
yeah,
just sounds cool.
it's worth an extra Han.
Dave at
Then again, so
Ishan
is
10.
Ricci.
Oh yes, definitely. Dave is right up behind Wavebin with an Ishan 10. Possibly pick was well, and pulls the 7 souls to complete that. Goes for a Ricci 2 5 mon wait. Flips over the wall, exposes the 8 soul, which is actually would have helped Wavebin, but
Oh, Damien's Tempa. No, he's Ishanten. It's a fairly wide Ishanten, and he shoves the one chance one so in. And now Weibin, okay, decides not to con to break Ipatsu.
I mean, Anoya Ricci,
It's
yeah,
scary.
it's very scary to con, and the other people at the table are definitely going to glance at you.
I wonder if, upon given the chance to chase, if he even won't con and he'll just discard the 3 and chase now that it's a no chance tile. But I think we would still see the con out of him to raise the hand value a little bit more.
I agree with you on that. Sanso doesn't really look too safe either.
And Michael's hand, we see a lot of those honors have blown out early on in the hand, which makes it slightly more difficult to fold out here, as opposed to just giving up. But it's really hard to just high-pie Ori in such an explosive format. We've been deciding whether he wants to push this 9-mon. It's around the Dora, but there is a 4th turn 8-mon discard, which makes it slightly safer.
He decides to
Okay,
go with
goes.
the 4
Yeah, so Mawashi for now, hoping to draw around the 9-mon or pair it up.
Still not seeing that 2 or 5 mon pull from anybody out there. There's still 3 left in the wall. No, I'm totally wrong. I didn't see the 2 mon that Wavin cut already.
Yeah, so 2
So
left in
there's
the
only
wall, but still.
yeah.
No luck for Weibin either. It looks like he might be forced into a fold here. If for some reason someone were to call to give Dave the Haite, then we might have a chance to see Weibin do a Haite erasure with the con on his final draw.
Takes guts though.
A little bit. If he has a safe tile, he can 100% get away with it. Assuming Dave gets the last draw and Weibin does it on the on his own last turn, because then there is no other draw.
Yes.
But it would take quite some circumstances, and someone would have to give Dave the high tay, which is already unusual since the other two players are basically folding out here. And that'll be it for Weibin. So,
Have 4
one
more
draw remaining
draws.
for Dave.
Oh, it's a
Oh, wrong
Manzu, but
synergy.
no. It is a Rampin, which leaves with Dave's Tempai only.
Yeah, so he picks up a nice 3,000 over here. Players are just making some change at the moment. And there will be one Homba and one Ricci stick on the table for 2,500.
I like leaving out the Ricci sticks and the Homeba sticks out on the table, but I noticed that on the auto table, there's always a chance of those Ricci sticks getting caught inside those, uh, uh, not the pits, but where the tiles come out. I guess it's
Ah,
not a good
yeah.
practice.
You could put them in the little point trays, which everyone has on their right-hand side. It's visible at the top of the table. I tried to do that with the Homeba the other week, but they actually don't want us to do that just because then the scores aren't accurate to the viewers. But I think that the Ricci stick was placed there.
Okay.
So Dora's the 9-pin. This is Dave's first repeat during his first dealership in East 2. Looks like Michael has a pair of the 9-pin. Pretty interesting hand for Damien as well. Definitely plenty of speed there. And Apen has a relatively fast hand as well. In fact, everyone's hands seems to show some potential with either value or speed.
Seems like everyone could fight in this round. Interested in Michael. Yeah, I see a lot of calls happening.
Yeah, Michael, the Hatsupon for an instant Mongon would be very good. Still two left in the wall also. Ah, Itsu call from Dave. He wants those Homba.
The
Could
thing is,
technically
he
be,
doesn't have a head, so it's still a little bit of a ways to go.
yeah, could technically be a 789 Sanchoku as well.
Right, you're right.
Though seems a little unlikely.
I had to break that 1 to 3 pin in there if you want to go for that route.
Yeah, that would be your chance, but I agree with this. Damien's hand is already in Yishanten. He's picked up this 8-pin now, is trying to ponder whether he wants the door acceptance, and he wants it enough that he'll break the Ishanten for the better shapes.
Yeah, I agree with that. That 2 pin Tanchan didn't really look too appealing. And then Michael pawns the 9 pin to make a Dora 3 hand with Atozuke Aliahatsu there.
Yeah, and now Damien sees that the 9-pin is gone, and he manages to draw the 1-pin back on the very next turn.
Go back to where you started from. South to switch it up with the Chun.
Yeah, slightly more safe in the future since it can't deal into an opponent's Yakuhai.
We've been pondering on this 3 mine.
Yeah, it's quite a complex Manzu shape there. And there's Tenpai for Dave.
There you go.
As well as Michael. So Michael is Adozuke waiting for the Hatsu. It looks like he could have a Sanchoku Doko, but there's already 2 9-sos discarded, including one in his own. And then the 7-pin Penchan is in a little bit of trouble because there are 3 in Damien's hand versus the 2 Hatsu left in the wall. Oh, but you only need one.
And you just need to pull it.
So there we go. No, don't put it in the hand. Okay, there we go. So that'll be Itsudora 1 as dealer. That should be 1,000 all, plus the 500, so 1,500 all, and he gets to collect his own Richi stick.
You have to keep
Oh,
your
yeah, the
oil,
last-
so it's a win.
Yeah, last game was very fast. This game is going pretty slow to start off with. This will be East 2, Repeat 2. So we've already had 5 hands, if you include this upcoming one. And it looks like the Dora will be the 6-mon. And now players are probably really going to start ramping up the speed of their hands with 3,000 points in the middle. And Dave's hand has the double East pawn chance. Yeah. And already completed 7, 8, 9. But Michael's hand is the one to look at, I think, already with the Chun and the Haku pairs and a lone Hatsu.
And upon the first Haku that came out of Dave's hand.
And immediately discarding the 4-mon, which is suspicious because the door is a 6-mon, right? He does have the 7-mon in hand, though, so he can make a nice Ryanman with that. There's the pawn of the East for Dave. Both
That
players
double pawn.
rushing.
Oh yeah, as
And
an
this
Oya,
is
double
like,
ton's always a nice little hand to have.
Oh, the second pawn comes out immediately. And in some ways, this might work out in Michael's favor. Without that second pawn, the Hatsu might have come out very early from anyone who would have drawn it, but now they might consider twice and give him enough time to pair it up. Someone... who would toss it? Dave might toss it if he gets Tenpai.
Yeah, Dave would definitely want to push, but yeah, just looking at that Haku and the Chun out there, it's scary. I'll say after maybe the 7th round or so, I'll try to like keep that Hatsu in my hand.
Oh, and now there's a Chi of the red 5. That'll be Tenpai for Michael, and he discards the Hatsu himself, so
Yes,
it's not a
yes.
worry anymore. So 3-so looks like there was 1 in Damien's hand, and Waben just drew 1. 2 left in the wall. I wonder if Michael would pawn the 8-pin to get onto a Tonki, which he can change.
Yeah, how many was? Oh yeah. At least wait for the second 8-pin, and if I don't see that once, it'll come out at all. Had enough times where I switched my weights up and get punished for it. So
Yeah, that can happen. It's a little unfortunate here that Michael's waiting on Sozu after taking 2 Yakuhai and a Sozu call, because with the early 4/7 mon discards, it looks like it could definitely be some kind of Sozu Honitsu, but Dave's gonna push through fearlessly because he's also an Ishan Tennis dealer with comparable value.
Wavin and Damien, it's kind of a hard place. It's mid game, so it's around the time where you decide to kind of start thinking about folding. But when the tiles start coming in like that, with the Damien with the 8 mon pull,
Yeah, you almost feel obligated to start pushing because of that Honda.
it's like no one's backing down just yet.
Yeah, Weibin is currently Ishan 10 with a potential 1-2-3 Sanshoku. Could also get the Pei Yakuhai. We see a pause on that 9-pin from Damien. He's going to work around it for now.
And we still have three so's in the wall.
I believe it's actually 2. I think Damien has one and Weibin has
Wavin
one.
has one. You're right. It's 2 left in the wall.
But Weibin is actually seeming to have folded on this 2-so draw. And there's Tenpai for Dave. Con 4-pin. Ooh, this is the weight switch up.
Oh, and he decides to stick with the 3, so wait.
Yeah, just playing the numbers for now.
Again, the 9 mon pull, it's hard when the tiles are just calling you to like keep pushing.
Weibin has actually recovered back into Ishanten, but would still have to push that 2-so. And there's Ishanten for Damien. Could go for a Pinfu Dora 3.
It's a 9-pin look. I think it's safe.
It should be safe because it passed 2 turns ago.
But he decides to cut that 4-pin, which is
Oh,
a hit for Dave.
I'm a little surprised because the 9-pin is guaranteed to be safe there. And you want
Yeah.
the wider Ishanten with Dora 3, but maybe he thought he could get away with it for now in Sakigiri. That does
Maybe.
deal in though. Yeah, with the Honba, that's definitely a sting. And now there's going to be 4,500 on the table.
Dave's still keeping that lead on with the still keeping that oil. 36,300 points.
Yeah, despite having those chained wins, only at 36,000, but you'd have to remember that we start at 25,000 instead of 30,000 in league rules. So yeah, pretty nice lead for now. It is only East 2. We've seen how swingy these games can get in previous sessions. As is, it's Haku as the Dora. Oops, Dave's first discard tries to hide its face.
Dave's hand's a
Yeah.
little on the heavy side. I'm gonna say Damien Michael has like. Oh, and Waven has a really good hand here. Really wide.
I had to look for a second if that was double Ricci, but no. Is yeah, super wide Ishan 10 now. And any middle tile draw basically just improves it. And that's Ishanten for Damien as well. And Weibin takes the Richi. 5-8 Mon. This is Richi, Tanyao, Dora 1. Plus 4,500 in Honba. It's so early that there's barely any room to fold here. People are going to have to push.
I mean, Michael has those north tiles and Hatsu tiles, which is relatively more safer. I'll probably just cut the north out here. Oh wait,
Yeah,
but
north.
it's north is Waven's wind. Oh, but he just goes with it anyways.
That being said, the Hatsu can also deal in for Yakuhai. And in this case, the north is less likely to become the Uradora because we see 2 of the wests. Or actually 3. So maybe that was his decision to cut the north over the Hatsu. And he's in Ishanten now. Of course, the Hatsu is also great for calling. Yeah, Dave was caught in an awkward spot. That 4-mon advanced his hand quite nicely, but not wanting to push, it goes out as Genbutsu.
And with
And
that
even
early
Michael.
Ricci, if I was in Dave's hand, I would probably try to go for the fold.
Yeah, he has a decent lead. It's not the largest lead in the world, but it's enough to make you think twice about pushing. And even Michael here took a step back from Ishanten, wanting to work around both the 3-6 pin.
Goes for
We
the
see
Reese.
a
Is
Haku
that an
Ricci chase.
overreach?
I guess yes, it's the Haku's the Dora.
Yes, but there's a really big chance that someone has it in their hand. A Yaku Dora is something no one's willing to cut, really, even without a Ricci out there.
I suppose that's why he did an open Ricci instead. He's gonna try and get it from Weibin or rip it from the wall, but there's the 8-mon.
Choice, yeah, definitely would have been cool if he pulled that Haku on the first draw.
So Weibin's gonna get a Ricci Tanyao, Dora 1, Ura 2.
Ooh.
So that's gonna be a Mongon plus 4,500 in the middle, 12,500 total, and Weibin isn't even the dealer. Well,
They're
that'll
just
get rid of the
reconfirming.
getting a little bit of change there. But that'll be it for the Honba for now. As we go into wow, it's only East 3. Michael's dealership, Dora is the West. Looks like he's opened up with a completed sequence in the Manzu and a couple of partial sequences in the other suits. Could go for a decent Ricci with that. Not really seeing a whole lot of value, but as Oya, you just go for it. Damien's hand, though, has a chock full of Manzu. Could go for a Manzu Honitsu, could go for a Ipeko, even a Sananko in some places. But look at Weibin already with the Dora pair of his own seat wind. And Dave with 3 pairs, one of which is the Haku, which can be called instantly. I do not have high hopes for Michael's hand.
No, it looked good in the beginning, but looking at everyone else's hand, it's definitely not as exciting here.
Still, it's not always the exciting hands that are the most important ones. If
Especially when you're
Michael's
Oya.
lucky, yeah, if he can squeak out a quick win here and deny the other hands, that'd be great. And he's drawing improvements. Currently 2 Shanten. If you can draw a 3-pin, then you're in really good shape. The West might come out from Dave here. If not, then probably the 8-9 mon.
Tries to go with the 9-mon. Yeah, I guess there's still a chance of pulling that. west.
Yeah. And at that point, you can open for the Haku, or you can go for a Chitoi Dora 2/3 if you can get the 5 mon also. So Weiben's even leveraging a Sozu Honitsu here by breaking apart the 3/5 mon. His hand already has 2 pairs, so the Forso is a bit accessory. That 2/2 forest shape is normally really good for making a pair, but if you already have 1 or 2, then it's not as good. So, at least to me, I think that's my sign that he's going for the Honitsu over a potentially um, wider acceptance hand. And it might end up being faster because he can call for that. That
That's
being
what he
said,
does.
with the West here, we're just going to see whatever Tenpai comes first.
You even call that ramp the 2-pin there.
Yeah. And Dave called as well, took a chi of the 3 mon for the 3/4/0 mon. So he's currently in 2 Shanten, looking for a Haku, 2 of which are in the wall.
Looking at that West Dora 3. Oh, but Waven decides to discard that one, so yeah, I guess it's faster.
And in this case, the 4-so does allow you to accept the 3-so still also. I guess if he can get a 9-so, then he can consider the Honitsu. Otherwise, you just reach Tenpai first in a lot of cases.
There was a second call from Dave.
Looks like a 1 mon pawn to go along with the Manzuchi from before. If the players figure that Dave's hand is cheaper and they kind of read into that, they might even purposely feed him his Yakuhai to shut
Yeah.
down the big Mangan. But it's hard to say because you also don't want to give anything to Waben if you can avoid it.
True. Let's also use Shanten with a fun little shape there.
The one
Oh,
so
what's
pair
the Sancho?
backfired.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. There is. What went a little blurry there? Is there a Sanshoko? Not currently, but
no,
there
there
could
isn't.
be a.
Right. And almost Sancho.
Oh, wait. Yeah, you can get the 3/4/5 Sanshoko. I was looking at the 4/5/6.
Oh, right. Yeah, if you got the 5 mon, not the 5 mon, but the Ram one there.
Yeah.
But he pulls the 8
Damien.
mon.
Oh, wow. And Damien is Dama here because he doesn't want to deal with this monstrosity of the hand to his right. And the 2/5 pin did pass recently enough. But there's Tenpai for Waben.
And yes, waiting on a 5 and 8. So
Just a step short as he deals into Dave's Haku only. Well, with the Fu, that should work out to still 1,000.
yes.
Because it's the south wind is not worth any Fu.
Fortunate for Waven. 5 ace, so still being out there a lot.
Yeah, one of our viewers is wondering if Damien accidentally passed a run on the 2-pin when he had pin Fu.
Ooh, did we miss
If he
it?
did, it was likely because he didn't realize that there was pin Fu because of how complex the Manzu shape was.
Complex enough
I
that I
didn't.
missed it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was Tenpai at that point or not, which is why at that point I said, oh, the 2-pin came out recently, so it looks like a good weight to Dama on, but he might have passed it by accident. Either way, a good end to that hand, neutralizing the large hand. And it's Damien's first dealership, East 4. Dora is the West. Again.
We've been having a lot of repeats on the Dora.
Yeah, that's the fourth time that West spin the door in these two Hanchons. Taking a quick glance around the table, it looks like Damien's hand is, after that 5-so draw, not bad off. Could see a potential Manzu Itsu with the right draws, but it's more likely to become a Pinfu. Waben backfires on the first turn with that 4-mon drop, but he already has good shapes and the ability to call, even if it's a cheap hand. Dave's hand is already an Ishanten. He pauses for a bit and then decides that the 1-2-3 Sanchoku is not worth chasing. And Michael's hand pairs up the West. He has Yakuhai that he can call for.
But yeah, I feel like Waven has a really good hand here. Potential of getting higher values. Um, Dave pulling that 9-mon there. I guess he decided to keep that instead of the 6-pin.
Maybe going for a potential Chanta if you can get the
Right.
8-mon. There's a pawn of the Chun from Michael. Damien's hand notably has a chance at a 4-5-6 Sanshoku at the moment, though it is still, I believe, 3 Shanten. And
We have
Waben's
6,
hand can
so
now... Ah, so he's
interesting.
going, yeah, going for the big Honitsu here instead of the Ishanten. There's no home on the table, so I guess he doesn't want to settle for the 1300.
To speed things up, he pawns that 6 so. Cuts the 5-pin. Waiting for a
And
call.
now the East pawn will be worth quite a bit more.
Well, if he could build that 6-mon in there for a Chundura Dora Dora, I'm pretty sure that's what he's going for right there. And that's exactly what he does. Aiming for the
Now
6-9 pin.
Damien's Ishanten here is a little awkward. He's going to lose out on the Pinfu chance to keep the ability to get a third West. If the 5-so was not red, and Waben was not going for a Sozu Honitsu, we might see a 5-so cut there instead for the Pinfu Dora 4. Oh, sorry, Pinfu Dora 3. There's also the 3-pin that's been pawned.
Ooh,
So
but
the
then that
4-5-pin
9
isn't as
pin
good.
comes out from
Yeah.
Waben.
Nice Chun Dora 2 for 39.
I feel like that's the second big hand Waben's been denied of.
Yeah,
Just
it
too
seems to
bad.
happen a lot that he gets really close to these big hands, but falls one step short because they're a little bit slower than normal hands. Here he goes with another potentially large hand. Starts with a pair of the Haku and the Roundwood South. And the Dora 9-pin. And a 4-5-pin Ryanmen, maybe a Pinzu Honitsu. Dave, on the other hand, has tons of Manzu. And the hand is really not worth anything unless he does go for that Honitsu. Uh, Damien almost draws from the wrong spot, but fixes it, which is good because he has a nice hand. 2 red 5s, Tanyo shapes, or more realistically, probably a Pinfu.
I mean, still callable, yeah, definitely. Double
Yeah,
up on
the
that
tough.
4-pin though.
Yeah, that's going to be the tough spot of the hand.
It's Phil from
Michael had a
Michael
similar
here.
predicament. but he just drew it.
He is still looking for a head.
And Weibin hasn't managed to get a pawn of the east, the south, or the Haku, all three of which are Yakuhai for him. A 2-mon cut there is pretty interesting from Michael. I almost expected a 9-mon cut instead.
Right. I guess he's looking at that Tanyao, keep that 468 Diancon. Yeah, Diancon. Thinking he could pull that Pinzu here. Ooh, the wrong one though. Actually, no.
And
that
now
looks
he has
good.
an improved shape. But Weibin's going to get his first pawn of the Haku. And his hand has been steadily building up. But then again, so has everyone else's hands. That's going to put Damien into Ishanten, looking for that overlapping 1-4 pin.
Great hand then.
And that should be Tenpai for Michael as well. I think he can get away with the Nakasuji trap here. If he discards 8-mon and reaches.
That's exactly what he does.
So we have a Richi Tanyao Dora 1 on a Nakasuji 5-mon wait. Damien has a pair, but one of them is the red 5, so he's hard-pressed to discard it. There seems to be one left on the wall, given that Dave has one. Oh, and that's
Ooh.
potentially a disastrous tile for Damien. If he pairs up like the 5-pin, for example.
Oh yeah, 5-pin or even the 4-pin pull. That 5-mon might come out.
I think with the 4-pin pull, he might call Ricci.
Right, you're right.
But definitely a draw of the 2-pin. You could consider cutting the 5-mon there.
Sorry, I didn't see the 5, so just because it was out of place. Or
Oh yeah,
out of place for me.
yeah, he has them shifted a little bit. He might maybe having intended to call earlier. There is a south for Weibin. That's going to put him in Ishanten for Yaku Yaku Honitsu Dora 1. Maybe even Yaku 3 if you can get the east.
There's still a potential with only one in Dave's hand. Non-cut, I believe.
Michael is probably wondering where his 5-mon is. All right, we see the 2-pin draw. In this case, it's okay because the 2-pin is a no chance tile. We see 2 3-pins discarded by Dave and 2 in Damien's hand. Oh wow.
5 soul pull from Damien. Can't really use it. It looks
I
pretty
just realized that
dangerous.
Damien also passed Tenpai on the previous turn. He had Chitoi Tenpai.
You're right with the rampant, with the 2-pin, but
That final 5-mon does get drawn by Weibin, can't use it in his Honitsu, and it shoots out. That'll be Irichi Tanyao, Dora 1, Uro 1.
so is that the third time Weibin's been denied by? I don't want to pick
Yeah.
on him, but I just feel bad, especially when his hands were really good 3 times in a row, had really good
Hey,
potential.
look, it's West as the Dora again.
Oh.
How many times is this going to happen? This is the 5th time West has been the Dora.
Yeah, no one's really gone gotten to use it.
Yeah, there was the one hand where the West was pawned and just didn't come to fruition. So Dave's going to start here with 3 pairs and a completed 1-2-3 mon, but not a lot of value. Michael, another kind of tough hand. And Damien's hand, with the uncle of the 3-pin, looks like an easy Tanyo.
But still,
oh, wait.
but it looks like everyone has like a pretty heavy hand. Might be a long round here.
Yeah.
Unless
Waben's hand
Dave
has
okay.
potential for pretty high value with the 4-5-6 Sanshoku draws. But he could also speed it up towards a Tanyo. Oh, it looks like Dave is opting for a Chanta.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna point out. If he could pull that Epin or an ape and could speed up his hand for the Chanta, but
If he can draw a 9-pin, he has a chance at a Sanshoku Doku of the 9s as well.
fortunately for his red 5-mon draw here, can't really use it for that Chanta.
And taking a look at Michael's hand, the 9 Sos are locked up as a pair, and the 9-mon is already part of the 7-8-9.
Yep.
It might come out eventually, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. Very possible.
Weibin is in 2 Shanten currently for Chitoy. That would be one way for him to use the Lone West Dora. Now Michael has a West of his own, but paired up. Will he go for Chanta too? Well, for now defers with the 9 So, which will get pawned by Dave. Oh, wow.
And pawn needed Michael into a tempo with that 4-mon weight.
Looks like there are 4 left in the wall.
Yep, a Richidora 3. Ramongon hand.
Ooh, wrong side. Weibin has a hand. He wants to push, but it's really difficult. And he could defer for now with like 7-mon, but then you get rid of the chance for a cheat toy Dora 3. So yeah, it goes for the 1 chance 9-mon to keep the hope alive. And notably, Dave could have pawned that into Tempai, but it would be an Aruzuke wait for the 1-4-mon, could only win on the 1-mon.
Just a Chanta. I don't know.
Yeah, Chanta only is hard to justify pushing.
Especially with none of the Doras being out there. It's kind of a scary Ricci.
Absolutely. So we still haven't seen any of the 4-mon drawn. How many turns do you give it? Oh, sorry, there is one in
There's
Waven's
one.
discards. I missed it.
But still plenty out there for. I'll say 3 more pulls.
3 more. Okay, so start of row 3.
I think
Damien's
Michael's been pulling his sumos. So if he could keep that flow going on from his first session or the first game, it's definitely possible.
Waben might catch up though. Waben is currently in Ishanten. He just has to deal with this scary west tile. But if he gets into Tempai with the ideal weight, He might shove it, and he can even West Tonki. Oh, that's the ideal
Oh,
tempo
yeah,
for
that
Waben.
is.
It'll be really tragic if he takes the West Tonki here because it's just dead.
Yep.
The 369, so it's hard to not chase on the better weight.
He
Oh no.
decides to go for the. Oh,
To
and
open
opens.
Ricci. And Michael might be smiling now.
Oh yes, oh definitely, he definitely is.
This will very likely come up to bite Waben. When chasing, it's more important to have a good weight. Though, to be honest, the 369 so wasn't terribly strong with the 9 so pawn and a bunch of the 360 out already.
Right. Yes, but especially if you're going for an open Ricci, yeah, I'll just go for the larger weight or the wider weight. Yeah, three so comes out. Still no sign of that form on though. Way past that 3 round assumption I made earlier.
A little bit.
He is waiting, contemplating on that 8 mon, and he does decide to pawn that. Doesn't really put him into a template or anything. Was that to get Michael's high red?
I'm not sure. I think it gave him the high T
Yeah,
actually.
it did. Not sure what.
Not
Oh,
maybe just misreading. You do have a higher chance at K10, but it's still very tiny.
all
Well, here we go. I believe there's still
right.
3-4 months.
Yes, there is.
Oh, well,
Uh,
that's tragic for both players.
was an exciting one. Oh, that
So
4 mon
three,
was
4 months in
inside
the
that one
dead
pie.
wall. Yeah, both hands dead on arrival. Well, 1,500 points each nonetheless. 2 Ricci sticks in the middle and 1 repeat going into Michael's dealership in South 3. Looks like Dora is the Hatsu.
You sure it's not the West?
Maybe next round. Oh,
And
that's an
Damon just
interesting
knocked over
reveal.
a 5 red, so too far in the wall to start calculating who's gonna pull that.
Currently, I think Michael will draw it.
Oh wow, that was fast.
I think I'm counting every other one on the top, but they kind of blend together and probably messed it up.
Oh well.
Either way, Michael's hand here is already starting out into Shanten, has the ability to pair and pawn up the Dora. Otherwise, the hand is quite cheap. Damien's hand, similarly, very cheap unless he gets the Dora or the double south. Waben could leverage a 4-5-6 or a 6-7-8 Sanchoku, which is pretty interesting.
Definitely a 6-7-8 looking. Has a little bit of work to do, but he's still in the game.
And Michael says, you know what, I don't need this Dora. I'm Ishanten with so many towels. I'm just going to go for the Ricci.
Does with a 3-mon wait.
It's a dealer Richi Nomi, and that will be on a Tsumo 40 fu, on a run 40 fu, because of the Anko plus the Kanchan weight plus 2 fu for Tsumo. So this is a 2,000 point hand at the moment. Or actually, if it's on a Sumo, then it's a 1,000 all, plus the repeat.
Taking that dealer reaching, I'm pretty sure everyone's kind of folding with what they're having right now.
Looks like Damien has one of the 3 Mons. There's another in Weibin's hand, so there's 2 in the wall. If Weibin gets enough information here, he could realistically push, but there's the Sumo. So that'll be
No,
a
we're
1,500 all with a repeat. I think. Wait, no. It's 1,800 all.
What am I missing? Where's
So it's 40 fu because it's 8 fu for the Anko of the 1 pin, plus 2 for Sumo and 2 for Kanchan. So that goes up to 40 fu. And it's a 2 Han 40 fu Sumo's dealer, which is 13 all plus 500.
13 on? Yep, that's where I was missing. That's why I leave up all the calculations to Eric.
I messed it up on the first go though.
No, you fixed yourself. You caught yourself.
In a real game, that would have been too late. Be on the next hand already. Either way,
well,
we
we
go
play
into repeat
nice.
2. This is South 2, sorry, South
South
3,
3.
repeat 2. Dora's the 8 Mon.
With a 4,300 lead here, well, maybe wants maybe another quick little hand, like the Homba. Try to get 2 top games in a row.
Yeah, that'd be really ideal. It's a tight battle between 3rd and 4th as well. Only a 3,900 point gap. And there's more than that almost more than that on the table. 3,000 in Homba alone. And yeah, the Sours are in a touch of trouble here because they're in 2nd place, but the gap to the first team, the Triads, is still several hundred points away. So
Yes.
eating 2 forts here would be really big for 1st place.
That said, Weibin's hand is looking pretty nice.
We've seen what happens with his nice hands before, though, haven't we?
You're right. I was gonna say that, as well as at this late in the game, or late in the session, and with the point separation, maybe he wouldn't. He would decide not to call the Chun and go for like a higher closed hand, unless he
Could
pulls the
be the
Chun, of
case.
course.
I think he has some incentive with the Honba to just go for it and try and preserve a 3rd place. But in this case, he won't be getting the Chun because Damien has a pair and is currently in Chitoi. Oh, I guess it's 3 Shanten. I mistook the hand for having one more pair than it did.
Still, Damien looks. There could be a Chanta in there.
Weibin has managed to get into a great Ishanten, accepting the 3, 4, 6, 7 so and Chun into Tenpai. But Dave is there one step faster. It's the 7-Mon Kanchan for Richidora 1 plus the 3,000 in Honba, and it looks like there are still 2 7-Mon left in the wall.
Yeah, let's forget to look at the Dora tile.
This is a case where if Weibin manages to chase here, because Weibin's chances of getting into Tenpai aren't awful, Damien might try and fold against both players with the Chun pair and then deal in.
He
But it
decides
might happen in the...
to
Yeah. Ooh,
roll with
red
the
5-mon.
chun.
Yes. Red all around. Oh, yeah, it looks like Damien's just gonna fold then. Because he could have taken Tenpai with that pawn. In fact, I might have now that the 8-mon became Suji. Oh, sorry, that was the turn before. My bad. If the 5-mon was Suji, I might have pushed the Dora because it's such a meaningful hand to win 3,000 plus your opponent's Ricci stick. But as is, yeah, the fold makes sense.
Still waiting for that 7-mon to come out.
Oh, interesting. Back into Yishanten now.
Pulling that 5-mon there is we save tiles.
Does Weibin think he can go with the 8-pin? No, goes for the 7 so for now. Still Yishanten though.
But I mean, it just might be for me. But when you're kind of indecisive about your hand, it usually doesn't work out for you.
No, yeah, we like to call it waffling between decisions. If you try and push and then you try and fold and back and forth and you don't do it perfectly right, then things tend to fall apart. So Weibin here has the option to toss the 3, so if he thinks he can pass it, and he does. Now he has a 5-6-7 Stanshoku chance. Ah, there it is.
Gonna go inside Damien's hand, trying to get that Ipeco in there.
The 1-7-mon left on the wall. Damien's hand could absorb it, so can Weibin's, and
Ravens.
Michael's unlikely to push it.
Yeah, Michael's
Oh
kind of
no.
trying to fade out. Ooh, and that's a 9-1. Yeah, it still looks a bit of a dangerous tile.
At Tempai, you might push it, but for now, the 3-so comes out again. There's already 2 4-sos gone anyway, so not a huge loss in efficiency. It's going to be a little unfortunate if Michael doesn't get Tempai here, because then the gap is going to close with the no 10 payments. There's going to be 3 home on the table, which puts his first in jeopardy. But the alternative of dealing in is not great.
Here he still has. Is it 2 jump then?
I think so, yeah. He'd have to push the 1-mon. 1-mon is 1 chance now, and then 2-so is
That's
kind of
pretty.
not terrible, but it's like still live tile, not fun. I think if you felt like you could take those risks, then you probably would have just pushed.
Exactly. Yeah, especially with the 5-so not out there either. It's gonna take a lot to get that 2-so out.
Damien draws into Tenpai though, waiting for the 7-mon as well. Can Dama and Ipe go here? Just depends on whether he can temper the 1-mon. I think you're justified in shoving it. So it'll be
And call
1
the
versus
reach.
1. I guess over here, Damien probably figures that his chances of drawing the 7-mon in 2 more draws are quite low.
Did you say
And,
that
this
1000?
this 3-pin is a real stinker, but it goes through. So it looks like Dave will not get the 7-mon, but Damien still has a chance at a high-tate sumo ipeko and misses it. So it will be a 1,500 point swing. Michael and Waybit are no 10, so they'll pay out to Dave and Damien. And of course, going into all last, we're going to have 3 Homba and a Ricci stick on the table. That's 5,500 points, which means that the gap between Michael and Dave is non-existent. Any hand will do it.
Yep.
If you could win with 0 Han and 0 points, you could do that and you could still come out ahead here. Because the Homba and the Ricci sticks are alone more than enough. So South 4 door is the 8-mon. Damien's the dealer. Of course, Damien wants to win this pot. This would be huge for him. Putting the Brooklyn Sours in last place by a significant margin if you can get a direct hit. And between Weibin and Damien, there is also an almost non-existent gap. Of course, if Damien wins, he'll be forced to repeat into repeat 5. So nothing is entirely stable here. See, Dave's hand is pretty fast. Could even convert it into a call to Tanya to win the game. And he's
Which
interestingly...
Right, he
Yeah.
kept that 9-mon in there.
Yeah, I guess looking to pick up the Dora and use the 6-mon as the Anko still. Though if you draw the 7-mon Dora... Oh, wait, the 8-mon is the Dora, my bad. Still, if you draw the 8-mon as the Dora, you can use the 668 for Tanya to find a pair. Also, maybe he was thinking of the 789 Sanshoku.
Yeah, that's what I saw just right now. But he decides to cut that 9-mon and just go for the Tanyao. Get a quick handout and finish the game.
And Michael is 2 Shanten with the option to call for an Itsu Dora too. Though he's going to have to get the 6-0 for that.
It still has a potential hand here, which leaves Waven kind of in like tough spot with a pretty broken up hand here.
Yeah, it's even tougher than normal because you can see a 3 Shanten Chitoi, but you can also see a Honitsu. But to get the Honitsu, you have to break up the Chitoi pair of the 1-pin. Now that this 3-pin is drawn, it's probably going to be a Chitoi attempt. Or trying to pair up Yakuhai or something.
Yeah, I think the Hanuman, a direct Hanuman hit would actually win him a second place position. I'm doing my calculations right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. 32,000 finish. Yeah, he'll get second if he can Hanuman hit either of the first or second players.
So,
But
but it's kind of hard to.
oh, they're on 3 Homba?
I guess so. They just kind of fixed the Homba there. So, I guess it's 2 Homba.
Oh, Michael is now in Ishanten.
I has a tough choice here. Wants to have like a
I think,
callable hand.
yeah, I think maybe slimming down one of the Sozu shapes is
Yeah,
appropriate.
that's what he does. And really, at this point, I mean, if the 6 pin comes out, he'll definitely call. But even for the 7 or 8 pin, he might just so that he could keep his Zoya dealership.
Yeah, at some point you probably just have to say, you know what, Red Dora is worth nothing compared to those Homba. Let's just go. It's a little rough here because 2 of the 8 pins are already out. This certainly helps a lot.
3 pin, it's going to make him a round client. That'll make him make that red 5 pin usable.
He can chi into Tuhan Tenpai. And the instant Richi from Michael, it's a Richi Nomi, oh sorry, Richi Dora 2, waiting on the 3-6 pin. Michael can close out the game with this Richi. There's no point waiting around for Yaku because if Dave wins anything, the game's over and he drops to second place anyway. 3-6 pin, it looks like there are 4 left in the wall.
First bowl is a red 5, so
Classic. Damien wondering whether he should take the 5-6-7 So Chi and drop the 2 So Suji.
does that.
Yeah, in his book, he's probably opening this hand anyway, and now he can get a 3-4-5 Sanshoku. So he has an open Mangan potential.
Still 4-3-6 pins in the wall.
Oh,
Ooh,
there's
and Damien
Tenpai.
Phil's there. Waiting for that 4 pin.
Could have potentially dealt in with the 3-pin, but going for the Sanchoku and dropping the Suji definitely seemed like the wise choice. And now you're waiting on Richi Genbutsu. If someone draws the 4-pin, it could come out.
Utoi and Waven.
Yeah, it's Tenpai. So East Tanki or Tuman Tanki. It's gonna Dama for now. Trying to increase the win rate. This could come out right now.
We can.
That would
Which
secure
would have been
Michael's
fun.
first. Oh, some hesitation. And it gets saved.
Very disciplined form on cut there. Thinking about switching to 1-1-8.
Yeah. All right. Decides to keep with the East.
Ooh,
Just gonna
Dave
give
pulls
Dave
that
one more
4
turn.
pin.
So I wonder. I imagine the 4-pin would come out first because it's Genbutsu.
But Damien pulls that 6 pin, which is a hit for Michael.
And that's big for Waben because that means that Waben secures the 3rd place. And Michael will take a 2nd consecutive first. So we'll just wait a second for the scores here. And it looks like our final standings are Michael at 46,500 in first place. We have Dave in second place with 35,500. In third place, it's Waben with 13,300. And Damien, after that last hit, will end in fourth at 2,700.
Michael actually had
what a day for the
2
Destroyers.
2 Ricci stakes out on the table, so that makes his final score 48,500 instead.
Just short of another 50,000 plus for first.
Yeah,
really impressive.
What a day for Michael. It's exciting for him.
So I'll pull up the standings on my end. Let's see. Should be entering that game in just a second.
This might, this might disrupt the standings a little bit. Where he's taking two first placements consecutively. Brooklyn Sours, yeah, maybe coming down. The Emperor Penguins right up their tail.
Yeah,
And again,
as of
there's
now, the Sours have dropped to 50.7 points. So it's the FalKANS who have the best shot at contesting the Triad in the upcoming matches. The Triad has 443.1, FalKANS 183.9, Sours with 50.7, Destroyers got into 4th place with a positive 28.8, Penguins at minus 38.6, not too bad. Yakuman at minus 52.6, Opie Dopes at minus 203 even, and the Rinshan Kaibros at minus 416.3.
the top first two places and the bottoms are a little bit separated, but then the middle, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth place are it's anyone's game at this point right now. Um, we are past the halfway point for the league, but what's your
There's
thought on that,
also
Eric?
something new that came up, a rules addition to our Beta League, is that there will be a final session of 3
Right.
games played among the top 4 players at the end of the season. The scores will not reset, um, but that'll give the top 4 a chance to duke it out. So right now, going into the second half, uh, the team should be aiming to get top 4 and not necessarily top 1. Of course, because the scores don't reset, and due to the nature of the gap between first and second place, there's still going to have to be a lot of high rolling from all of these teams here. And I think Triad is probably just going to be trying to coast that out and lose the least points minimum.
There's a lot of controversy about like how duking it out at the very end of the league, but it's one more mahjong we could play, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, and in the end, all the captains voted yes on it. It was run by the players, so it'll be an exciting finals match to watch when it does come around. The date for that is not decided yet because we don't know who the top 4 teams will be or who will be available on what days, but we will let you know when we know.
Sounds good. Well, it was a lot of fun, Eric, and thanks for doing all the calculations and commenting everyone's hand, analyzing. Yeah, I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, I couldn't have done it without you here to fill in all the stuff that I missed. It's been great. We hope to see you again as a commentator here.
Definitely be
Um,
back.
yeah, look forward to it. With that, though, I think that's it for us tonight. We want to thank all our viewers for hanging around with us for these 2 exciting Hanchons. Of course, if you're not currently with us in Richinomi, please be sure to pick up our website at richinomi.com. You can join our Discord through there, see our socials, and just join us. We have a lot of cool people who can teach Mahjong, who like to talk about Mahjong. There's cats, there's food, there's everything. And it's everyone is welcome to. You don't have to be a member of the club in order to join. So yeah, definitely check us out if you haven't joined already. But from New York, it's been Eric and...
Julian from the Destroyers.
All right, have a good night, folks.